2020 has been quite the year, and when it came to celebrity scandals, there was truly no shortage. Today we'll be breaking down all of the biggest scandals that happened this year, from people discovering how mean Ellen is to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry leaving the royal family. But first, make sure you tap that like button to show some love to the channel, and with that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's top 10. In at number 10, Kanye West. The word disaster is really the only true way to describe the Kanye West rally in South Carolina. With the year of our Lord 2020 shaved into the back of his head whilst wearing a flak jacket that read security, Kanye rambled about his campaign for about an hour. This was his very first presidential campaign rally, which was held in South Carolina, as I mentioned earlier, under his political banner called the Birthday Party. Then Kanye said that all Harriet Tubman did was free the slaves so that they could become slaves to other white people. It was a rally filled with controversies, but the biggest moment was when Kanye broke down into tears as he openly told the crowd that he nearly aborted his own daughter. This clearly was a sensitive subject for him and left the crowd absolutely baffled. Following this, Kanye would continue to make headlines as many political opponents accused him of trying to split the vote. In at number 9, Ellen DeGeneres. A huge revelation that came out of 2020 was that TV's self-proclaimed Queen of Nice wasn't as good as people once thought. Following a man on Twitter named Kevin Porter tweeting, "Right now we all need a little kindness, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, and I'll match everyone with $2 to LA Food Bank." Following this, a ton of scandals unraveled that put the Ellen Show in a place where it was now being investigated for this alleged toxic workplace environment created by Ellen and her executives. Specifically, 3 of the show's producers ended up being fired after the senior production team was accused of racial insensitivity, sexual misconduct, and other problems in the workplace. In at number 8, Kendall Jenner. With the pandemic, a lot of people celebrating their birthdays had to find alternatives because social gatherings have been severely limited to protect people from catching this virus. However, when you're one of these specials like Kendall Jenner, you can just throw a $1 million party and not get it shut down. During Halloween weekend, as cases in the US climbed to nearly 100,000 per day, Kendall celebrated with a packed party filled with celebrities not wearing masks. In fact, the only people that were smart enough to wear a mask were the staff that she had working this super spreader event. Perhaps one of the dirtiest scandals, though, was the fact that she had pieces of paper around the party that specifically told people not to post about it on social media. However, once that photo was out, it was game over for Kendall. Twitter absolutely blasted these celebrities for their blasé attitude towards this pandemic. These are the people that we give huge platforms to do good with, and this is how they set an example for their supporters. In at number 7, Meghan Markle. I don't know if it's because I never grew up in the UK, but I could care less about the royal family. Sorry. I honestly think it's insane that people are still paying their salary to basically sit in their castle and do nothing. One person I was excited to see join the family and shake things up was Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle marrying Prince Harry and their departure from the royal family was a massive controversy for everyone across the pond. The decision was made official on March 31st, and thus the couple gave up their titles as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They even moved to California to just get away from that lifestyle. Reportedly, the Queen was not happy in the way that she found out about this, but she did show support through a statement that was issued later on. In the statement she says, "Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved members of my family. I recognize the challenges they have experienced as a result of intense scrutiny over the last 2 years and support their wish for a more independent life. I want to thank them all for their dedicated work across the country, the Commonwealth, and beyond, and I'm particularly proud of how Meghan has so quickly become one of the family. It is my whole family's hope that today's agreement allows them to start building a happy and peaceful new life." Speaking of the royal family, in at number 6, Prince Andrew. Perhaps one of the biggest reasons that Harry and Meghan got away with their scandal is due to the much messier scandal that Prince Andrew got himself into. When Jeffree Epstein was caught, his ties to Prince Andrew were one of the most shocking things to come out of the investigation. Prince Andrew tried to claim that he and Epstein were not that close, but his flight logs to Epstein's island implied otherwise. The report suggested that Andrew here even had many of his private holidays personally paid for by Epstein. This association alone was enough for the public to start asking questions. But then when photos released of Prince Andrew standing with an underage girl at Epstein's home in New York City, this was the straw that broke the pervert's back. Yes, I said pervert's back. Adding more fuel to the speculations were the many photos of him with Epstein's procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell. The wildest part of this scandal was when a victim of Prince Andrew said that he would sweat a lot on her, and then Prince Andrew actually tried to claim during an interview, that he never should have done, that he has this rare condition where he doesn't sweat. He said that while he was sweating. Take a look.
Yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at.
In at number 5, Jeffree Star. During his rise to the top, Jeffree Star has become infamous for his Twitter feuds and controversial comments. This became a serious issue though when allegations of racism were hurled his way that involved comments made 12 years ago. Additionally, he was accused of using black creators to present an image of diversity. Although the biggest person to call Jeffree out on his racism was vlogger extraordinaire Jackie Aina. She posted an open letter addressing the conflict in the beauty community and pointing out Star's continued racism. In the tweet she said, "I have not and will not excuse his blatantly racist behavior, not his past references to me in derogatory terms, his continued use of the N-word, nor his efforts to eliminate spaces and opportunities for people of color. No one in the community should feel they are protected enough to continuously say things to make black women feel ugly and ashamed in their own skin. This is sadly a privilege and one that some, Jeffree included, have abused for far too long." In at number 4, Jimmy Fallon. This year, Jimmy Fallon had to apologize for doing an impersonation of fellow comic Chris Rock while in blackface during a 2000 episode of Saturday Night Live. Discussion of Jimmy's 20-year-old skit surfaced and a video of it was posted online. According to entertainment trade media outlet Variety, it was first posted on Twitter by a user named Chef Boy O'Dear and showed Fallon as Chris Rock appearing on a talk show.
Rock, now we're talking. Where is he? Man, oh man, read this book. I've seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and guess what? Not a lot of black folks on the show.
When the clip began to go viral, many people called for Fallon to be fired from The Tonight Show altogether, although instead, he just issued a lengthy apology, as per usual. Fallon tweeted, "In 2000 while on SNL, I made a terrible decision to do an impersonation of Chris Rock while in blackface. There is no excuse for this. I am very sorry for making this unquestionably offensive decision, and thank all of you for holding me accountable." Definitely not saying thanks to the makeup girl that painted his face black. Alright. In at number 3, Jake Paul. Whether or not you've ever enjoyed Jake Paul's content, he certainly has built an impressive fan base over the years simply by acting like a maniac and villain. He has garnered over 20 million subscribers on YouTube, most of which truly love the content that he's posted over the years. Jake already had some people beginning to hate him when he tried to sell a gambling service called Mystery Box to his young fans, but the straw that broke the camel's back, I know I love saying that saying, came when he decided to do some filming in Arizona. This took place during the riots in multiple areas around the city, and Jake found himself on camera being handled a bottle of vodka that was stolen from a P.F. Chang's. Following that, he was arrested for unlawful assembly and trespassing after multiple eyewitness accounts notified the police. Then on top of that arrest, his house was raided by the FBI in connection to the Arizona looting, and they uncovered a ton of automatic assault rifles, one of which was just chilling next to his hot tub. In number 2, Chris D'Elia. D'Elia was cancelled and has been accused of grooming and attempting to solicit nude photographs from underage girls. A woman named Simone tweeted out a screenshot of her alleged interactions with Chris, which began a thread of other women sharing their interactions with him as well. The stories were all pretty horrific considering that they were all allegedly underage at the time that Chris had sent these messages to them. However, in response to having his name dragged through the mud online, Chris told TMZ, "I know I have said and done things that might have offended people during my career, but I have never knowingly pursued any underage women at any point. All of my relationships have been both legal and consensual, and I have never met or exchanged any inappropriate photos with the people who have tweeted about me." Chris then goes on to say, "That being said, I really am truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in my lifestyle. That's my fault, I own it, I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I promise I will continue to do better." They always promise they will continue to do better. Never happens. We'll see. Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, Tory Lanez. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, really gained mass popularity throughout this pandemic by constantly doing Instagram live sessions. His show was called Quarantine Radio and featured a ton of content that broke the community guidelines of Instagram. That being said, he was still crowned the Quarantine King by his followers. With clout around his name now, we saw Tory hanging around with bigger celebrities like Kylie Jenner and Meghan Thee Stallion, which brings us to what Tory was being exposed for. Meghan was in a car with Tory and a member of his security team driving through an LA neighborhood. Apparently an argument took place that resulted in Meghan deciding that she was going to get out and walk to where she was staying. However, before she could do so, Tory allegedly shot her in the foot.
So, since y'all hoes so worried about it, yes, this Tory shot me. You shot me.
Either way, Meg calling Tory out led to many of his fans turning on him, and thus another celebrity was cancelled. With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled "Tom Cruise has major meltdown on set." CM Gulia says, "You know, at least he had a good reason to be mad, just not that mad." Yeah, that's what I was saying in the video. I was like, he's got a great reason to be telling these guys to like get their crap together, but at the same time, he's maybe just a little too aggressive with it, but we don't know the situation, so. Melissa Kruger says, "I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise, but I understand the situation." Totally. And like I said, there's not a lot of context to it, so you're like, I get that he's worried about COVID, but why are you yelling so much, bro? Was this the 10th time that you had to speak with him? I think probably. Yushi G says, he maybe could have handled this differently, but I am on his side on this. He is trying to make it a safe place of work. I understand where he is coming from. I'm happy that so many people are so understanding in this comment section. It's really great to see. Lisa Stone says, sweet, another Bears fan, I love it. Oh, I'm a Bears fan since day one. You Crazy says, did Tom Cruise really buy a cruise ship, or did he just buy a ship and put his last name on it? Cruise ship. I can't believe I missed that pun, but thank you so much for dropping it in the comment sections for us all to enjoy. That has been today's video. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy.